So where we left off on this one, came in today. Once you start it, battery is stone cold dead. It was brought into the shop on Friday, here to Sunday. The battery was still hooked up. Battery was recently replaced. The problem was the battery itself. So did a little jumper test because clearly we have a draw. The battery or the key was taken out. Now what I do here is I hook up jumper cables, then I restart the vehicle. Right, so charge the battery back up to 100%. Hooked up the jumper cables, restarted the vehicle, have my amp clamp. And the reason why I do this is because it's easy to put all the amperage through there, and my amp clamp fits around this thing right here. So we can actually see here, pull this down a bit. Right now we have a huge amperage. I don't know if you can see that, but there's basically 3 amps pulse width here. So it looks like a computer control thing. A Dakota Digital. So next, put this down for a sec. Went inside. And I had already done a heat gun thing looking for any hot spots, and I can't find any hot spots. At least not in the vehicle. Not up underneath the dash, not underneath, yada yada yada. So, and it hasn't had a very long time since it's charged up to actually run the battery down to make any other accessories hot that would usually come up. So what we'll do here, we're going to go right down to our millivolts, and we're doing, you don't have to pull any fuses. All you have to do is look for a voltage drop across the fuse. Make sure you have a contact. And if it's bad, you'll have a little bit of voltage there. And go through and test them all one by one. Then what you can do from that is you take that information, and who has it? I think it's Power Probe has a good graph on the website. So you look at your amp size, or sorry, how much current, rephrase that, how much voltage you have for a voltage drop. You look up what size of fuse it is, if it's like a ATC, ATO, whatever it is, a mega, a mini, and then you also look up the size, if it's a 5, 10, 15, 30, and it'll give you how much of an amp draw is going through there to create that voltage drop. By doing that, you're not disrupting any of the circuits, you're not triggering anything. Now, take my word for it, there's nothing on any of those. Now look at the Dakota Digital next. It doesn't have any power to it at all. So no power to it can't be the cause of a draw. Let's grab, okay, I'll skip a heat gun at the moment. So the next thing I did, I said, okay, I got the amp clamp. I know I have it on the ground. I went to my power. My power comes down over here to my starter, and then it gets split up from the starter. I have a couple of wires that come up here. One goes inside the cab, and the other one goes across to the alternator. When I put the amp clamp, grab it here, and grab this too because I'm a gentleman. Put this amp clamp on here. This is the red wire coming up off the starter to inside the cab. So this is what's feeding the inside the cab. I do not have that same pattern that we saw on the other side. But when I come over here, again, be a gentleman, cover up the fender. Come over here, and look at that. So we have amp flow coming through this wire to this. But look, we also have a few other ports here, or not ports. We have a few other wires coming off the same connection here. So let's check. So we have this one coming here. Let's make sure it's not going back that way, or to see if it is. It is not. No amp flow. 0, zilch. What about this one over here? Again, no amp flow. And now that I just had my hand close to this, let's check this out, because it's been like this for a little while. Where, oh where, did I put my thermal imager down? Because I bet you, now that it's been like this for probably about 20 minutes, half an hour. Thermal imager. Let's look for a hot spot. There's heat, there's electricity flow. Oh, look at that. Can you see that? Our heatsink on the back of the alternator here is hot. Take a little picture. Boom. And okay, it's saved. Now, just to prove it, that we need an alternator for this thing, because the alternator is causing the battery draw. Okay, we're going to bring this up here, where I confirmed no amperage this way or this way. Those are the only other two connections. What size is that? Like a 3/8? Let's give that a try. Gee, it's getting warm, starting to cook my hand. Grease. $10 mil. Yeah. Still have current draw. Still have current draw. We're on this wire right here. Start pulling these off. Oh, look at that. So there's a lost connection. Boom. Oh. As I hold it back up. Now it's stopped. It's almost like it needs to rotate it first before it'll start. But that's why we don't want to start disconnecting things until we find out what the actual source of the issue is. So one wire alternator, there's no exciter wires or anything like that. Alternator's bad, causing a draw, taking out the battery. And that's how we do things here at Stone's Speed Shop.